Calgary's real estate market has shifted to balanced territory. Sales are down, inventory is up, and the headlines make it sound like the market has cooled off significantly. But here's what the headline doesn't tell you. If you're buying a detached home in Calgary right now, inventory is actually lower than it was this time last year. Meanwhile, if you're looking at condos, you have more than 5 months of supply to choose from, and prices are 9% below than where they were 12 months ago. Same city, completely different market depending on what you're buying. Let me break down what the main numbers are actually telling us and what it means if you're buying, selling, or just watching the Calgary market right now. Here's the quick picture before we get into each property type. The overall benchmark price in Calgary is $570,000. That number is actually higher than what it was in January, which tells you something important. Calgary has cooled compared to last year, but prices have not been falling through 2026. They've been grinding higher overall, even as the market has softened. Sales are down about 16% from last year. That sounds significant, but last spring was unusually busy. The more useful comparison is April of this year, where sales were similar. The market isn't falling, it's finding a new level. Inventory is up overall, but almost all of that surplus is in condos and townhomes. When someone tells you Calgary has too much inventory, ask them what kind, because the detached market is actually 3% below where inventory was this time last year. If you're shopping in the 700 to 900,000 detached range, whether you're already in Calgary or moving here from somewhere else, this is the part of the market you need to pay attention to. Detached homes are holding firm. The benchmark is 747,000 right now, up about 24,000 since January. Supply sits at around 2.5 months, which is balanced but on the tighter side. Well-priced homes in desirable communities are still moving. This is not a weak market for detached. It's balanced, but it leans towards sellers in well-priced situations. There is a variation across the city worth knowing about: the west side. The established communities closer to the mountains is effectively a seller's market right now. Prices there have held tight year over year, and inventory is very thin. The northeast side is the softest detached market in the city. Prices are down more than any other area. That's consistently what I see on the ground, and it's been the trend for a while. For southeast and northwest communities, which are popular with a lot of family buyers, you're in a balanced environment. Properties priced correctly are selling. Overpriced properties are sitting. That's a market where preparation and the right offer strategy matters, but it's workable. And if you want a well-priced detached home in a desirable area, this is still a supportive market. This is not the frenzy of last year, but it's also not a weak market. This is not a market where waiting for prices to drop is a well-supported strategy for detached homes. Prices have been moving up through 2026, not down. Condos are a different conversation entirely. The condo benchmark is 300,000, down 9% from this time last year. More than 5 months of supply. Sales have slowed significantly. These are clearly buyer-friendly conditions. The reason is straightforward. More rental options and a wave of new condo completions have created real competition for the resale units. Buyers have more choice than they've had in years, and sellers are negotiating. What this means practically: if you're open to buying a condo as an entry point into the Calgary market, you have real leverage right now. More choice, more room to negotiate, prices that have come down meaningfully. The risk is that with the supply still coming through the pipeline, a quick recovery in condo prices is not guaranteed. If you're a family buyer and a condo isn't in your long-term plan, this data is mostly background context. The detached market you're shopping in is operating independently from this. If you're selling a condo, pricing matters more than it did a year ago. Buyers have options, so being realistic from the start is important. A quick word on duplexes and townhomes, because they tell different stories right now. Duplexes are the middle ground right now. In desirable communities, they're still performing very well. Buyers who are priced out of detached homes are moving into that segment, which is keeping demand relatively stable. If you're looking at a duplex in a strong northwest or west community, don't expect a lot of negotiating room. Townhomes are softer, more supply, slower sales, and prices that have pulled back from last year's level. If you're comfortable with a townhome format, there's more room to negotiate than in detached or duplexes right now. For townhome sellers, presentation and pricing are doing more of the heavy lifting than they were during the hotter market. Getting that right from day one matters more than it used to. So here's how I'd summarize if you're trying to make this decision in Calgary right now. Whether you're buying, selling, moving up, downsizing, or relocating here, if you're buying detached in the southeast or the northwest from $700,000 to $900,000, you're in a stable market. Prices have been rising throughout the year, not falling. The cost of waiting can be real in this segment. Detached benchmarks in Calgary are up about $24,000 since January. That's not dramatic, but it's not nothing either. If you have the flexibility on property type and you're open to condos or townhomes, you have more options and more leverage than you've had in a while. Use it. And regardless of where you are in the process, even in a balanced market, the right home in the right community doesn't wait. When the right property appears, the decision window is short. Being pre-approved and clear on your priorities before you start looking is how you're ready when it matters. That's the May data. If you want to understand how this affects your specific situation, whether you're buying, selling, moving within Calgary, or relocating here, the link is in the description to book a time. I'll help you make sense of the numbers for your price range, property type, and timing. I'll be back here next month with the June numbers. See you then.